So, Pierre, if we could start with you, why not? First race weekend done. What conclusions have you reached about the potential of this year's Alpine?
Yeah,
I think we're all
not
good.
sure we want to review that, but I mean, yeah, it's been. I don't even know where to start. There've been a lot of them and bring a small performance into the car, like everybody I think in the paddock. But yeah, just a lot to review, a lot learned, and a lot to improve. Yeah.
Because I was going to ask whether it was track specific, because you seemed happier with the car in Bahrain testing and then less happy last weekend. Why was that? What were the main factors last weekend that you weren't suffering from in Bahrain?
Again, I don't think it's down to a single thing, but I think ultimately everybody is developing obviously their car. In Melbourne, we've seen already some upgrades on a couple of cars here as well. Difficult to say if it's track specific, but clearly these conditions and the track layout worked and played less in our favor. But I think overall we just didn't do a perfect job in maximizing our package. You know, in free practice we had a couple of issues with the engine. We focused a lot on the energy, etc., and we probably miss some factors on the tire, some factors in setup, etc. So yeah, I think we know what we got to improve, and I'm confident we'll be in a better place, better shape here. We were better on Sunday than we were on Saturday, so yeah, just needs some fine tuning.
Tell us about the atmosphere inside the garage now, because you've come from 2025, which was a very tough season for the team. What is the mood now?
The mood is we all got to work harder, better. I think we all agree that we didn't start the season in the shape that we would have all liked and expected. But at the same time, I don't think there's any alarm or no need to be dramatic about what we got to improve. I think we're very aware, objective. This wasn't good enough. I think I'm confident we can turn things and put us in a better place straight away from this weekend.
All right, good luck with that. Thank you, Pierre. Esteban, let's come to you now. Haas were front of the midfield in Australia. Just how good does this car feel to drive, first of all?
Yeah, I think it's been it's been a strong start of season for us, for the team. I think we have a car that like Pierre said, we have to understand further, and that we are trying to maximize. And after Australia, it seemed to be not exactly where we wanted it to be in quali. But in quali, unfortunately, on the last run, I had the floor that broke on that last lap, so we couldn't maximize the full potential there. But yeah, we seem to be performing well as a team in the race, and yeah, this is something that we need to take further into this race. Of course, there's only going to be one practice, so we need to make the most out of it. But yeah, it's been an interesting first weekend for us all. Happy with obviously that we are doing good progress, and happy with the start point and the base of the car. I think it's a solid start, so it's a base that we can work on, definitely.
You say it's a solid start. I mean, given the struggles the team had in Melbourne last year, how much more confidence is there? How much more confidence is there inside the team?
Yeah,
now?
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that the base of the car is definitely has huge potential. In terms of balance, when we put everything together, it's definitely a much better step forward than where it was last year in Melbourne. Of course, we've had different issues last year, and we managed to overcome those when we came to China. But now, we don't have to panic and do like a reset on most of these things. We have, the base that we can work on, and if we do like a good job throughout the weekend, we can definitely be fighting for something decent. So I hope that this is going to be the case this weekend.
Decent as in another top 5, like here last year?
We'll see about that, but it would be nice for sure.
All right, good luck with that. Thank you, Esteban. Fernando, let's come to you now. Melbourne was extremely tough for Aston Martin, and with only a week between races, what are the team's prospects here in China?
Yeah, not really different. I would say situation unfortunately didn't change within 4 or 5 days since Melbourne. So, yeah, I think it's going to be another difficult weekend, and trying to understand as much as possible on the car, and eventually limit the laps, in a couple of the sessions, because we are short on parts, and try to get something positive out of the weekend.
What would a positive weekend for you look like?
I think, obviously, when we are able to do laps, without any issues, I think they are very important laps, because even now here in Esteban and Pierre, they were not optimized for Australia. Apparently, I think it was the same case for everybody, and they are like I don't know, maybe 10 times ahead of us. If they completed 1,000 laps, since Barcelona test, we completed maybe 100. So we are 9 or 10 times behind. So if they still not perfectly optimized, imagine ourselves. We are at the square one. So we really need the laps. We really need to be able to practice and to find the window on the car on the chassis side, and that will obviously be very important for the weekend. And I will be happy, if we leave China with a more or less normal free practice, more or less normal quali, accumulating laps, and probably attempting to do the full race on Sunday if we are allowed.
Final one from me. Adrian Newey said last week that you must be in and I'm quoting him, hard mental place at the moment. Just how tough is the current reality for you?
Less tough than what you think. I mean, not ideal. We all want to win. We are 22 drivers this year. One will win. 21, we will be in a difficult and tough mental state. Because for me to finish third or fifth or 17th, it really doesn't matter much. I was lucky enough and privileged enough to live, different eras in Formula One, and to have fun driving, and eventually super lucky to have competitive cars for half of my career, and achieving more than 100 podiums in the categories. So now to finish, as I said, in any other position that is not first, for me is the same pain and the same struggle. And obviously we are now in this journey with the team, which is not the ideal start, but it's the first year of this collaboration between Aston Martin and Honda, and we have to go through this moment in time, and I'm ready to help as much as I can.
Thank you for that. Right, let's open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters, and David, please. Yeah.
David Cross, Sky Sports F1. Fernando, a question to you. Your answer then seems to be a very different Fernando to maybe one that we had 10 years or so when your last association with Honda. What are you doing behind the scenes to help Aston Martin and Honda through the current situation? And what have you been told by Honda that might make you feel things will be different sooner rather than later?
Yeah, about the 10-year difference, yes and no. I think I can see things now in a different perspective and a different maturity, but I don't think that 10 years ago things were, again, that dramatic. This is Formula One, very mediatic sport. When you win, which everyone seems now to understand that, but like 2 or 3 years crazy, 10 years ago, like criticizing or something like that. It was, I think, a few frustrations in the radio, which, it was there. And as a double world champion and, a competitive driver, I was not happy with the situation. Wow, I should be happy and clapping, inside the car about the job. So, now I think when everyone see from the outside that situation and they see the current situation, I think they are a little bit more friendly, with us, and a little bit more. They understand more the problems. And now, what can I do in the team is just work harder, try to help Honda as much as we can, allocating some of the resources that Aston Martin has into the engine, into the power unit, into the vibration problems, into the deployment issues. Obviously we are now in a different world in Formula One with all the data available, all the GPS, all the analysis that we can have from the other teams, and we can allocate some of those resources to make Honda trouble, or they can focus on one thing, and we can help them in some other areas on the power unit. So we are one team. As I said, it's a bumpy start, but I hope it will not last for too long, but it will not be an immediate solution either. So yeah, let's see.
Thank you for that, Fernando. Next one, Rachel. Yeah.
It's a question to all three of you, really. Just your thoughts on the start in Australia and starts in general, and to Franco's reaction time in Australia, if you've seen the video, which I'm sure you all have. Thanks.
Why don't we start with Esteban?
Well, I think for all of us three, it's been a really good start. But yeah, it was a scary one for sure for Franco. This is something that we are all aware that it can happen, especially in this early stage of the year. Could have been dramatic, that's for sure. And it's probably something that we are going to be talking about further to make sure that this is not happening. We don't want to see like F2 starts happening in F1. And they should not happen in F2 either, but they are more or less for the same reasons that they happen. But yeah, I mean, all of us three, we got good starts. I made a lot of places, Pierre made a lot of places, Fernando as well. It was enjoyable to race, but we don't want to see somebody stalling in front of you and then suddenly appearing from nowhere, because that's probably one of the worst crashes you can have. So yeah, something to bear in mind.
I think I would say starts at the minute are a lottery, because Liam had an issue which wasn't down to his procedures. We had a very good one, but I think we all know what we do inside the car. But when you see the outcomes at the moment, it's more a consequence of the PU and whether it's doing what it's supposed to do, etc. So you have big variation. I think we came as all winners last week. I have no idea whether it's going to be the case. I might do the same procedure this weekend and lose 5 places. So there is definitely that unknown with these cars compared to the past. Does it bring excitement? Yes, because you can still fall on the right side of it and make crazy number of positions on the dry start, which we haven't seen since maybe the 80s. When I look at the documentaries, it's been quite rare to see that many performance difference. Is it fair for all of us? Maybe not. So yeah, I think that's definitely one thing. And I think on Franco's situation, yeah, clearly was scary. I thanked him many times again this morning when I saw him, because we're quite short on parts, and I think for all of us in the team was definitely a scary one, but especially for him. And I'm glad that everyone was okay out of it, and definitely needs some stuff to be fixed, because you qualify. Liam did decent job in quali, then in race was over from something which wasn't in his power, which should not really happen.
Same. Okay. All right. Next one, please. Yeah, Mara.
A question to Fernando. Fernando, in terms of timing, when do you think that you and your team will able to have normal weekends?
Yeah, difficult to guess. I don't know really. We still have too many issues and too many unknown issues that they are coming day after day from nowhere. So it seems that we are not on top of the problems yet, and that's why it's difficult to guess. But we are pushing. We have very high professionals and talented people in the team. So I hope, by a couple of Grand Prix we can have a normal weekend. Well, at least in terms of doing laps and completing the sessions. Then to be competitive, I think that will take more time, to be honest, because once we fix the reliability, then we will be behind in terms of power and things. So, there are 2 steps, let's say, and hopefully the first step will come soon.
Thank you, Fernando. Any more questions from the broadcasters? Yep.
Good morning. Question for you three, please. In the beginning of this understanding process, is it better to have a sprint race this weekend or not?
Question for all. Go on, Pierre.
Obviously not yet. I mean, there are going to be even more differences across the field. So, but then it's the same challenge for everyone. But obviously, if you ask me, will you be fully optimized by Friday sprint qualifying? Obviously not yet.
No, yeah, I agree with Pierre, but I think it's fun like that. Let's see.
Great, I think. Yeah. It will not change much to us. We are in a survival mode. So let's see if we can capitalize on some other issues that may happen in front of us.
Welcome back, everybody, to our drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Chinese Grand Prix. Joining us for Group 2, we have from left to right Max Verstappen, Alex Albon, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Gabby, can you share with us what's going on? Or all right, let's get things underway. Max, perhaps we could start with you. So, first race weekend of 2026 done. You went from the back of the field to P6. Just how much potential do you think this year's Red Bull has?
Yeah, I mean, for sure there is a lot of potential. It's just going to depend, of course, on if we can extract that, I guess, throughout the year. The gap, of course, was quite big, and also in the race, I think if I would have started, let's say, a little bit up front, I think the best that I could have done was 1 spot higher, because we didn't have the pace of the top 4 cars. We also had a lot of degradation and graining. But yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the coming races, if we can close that gap a little bit.
Do you think the gap between you and the top 4 cars was track specific to Albert Park? Do you think you'll be closer here?
Impossible to know. I mean, yeah, honestly, it's such a jungle out there at the moment. I think that it's very hard to really know. I mean, I would hope that it gets a bit closer, not even bigger than the gap that it was in Melbourne. But it's clear that at the moment we cannot fight, with those cars.
So does having a sprint weekend so early in the season complicate matters for you?
I guess for everyone. I mean, it's difficult for everyone.
Okay, look, final one from me. You've confirmed that you're doing the Nürburgring 24 hours, a little bit later in the year. Why does this race hold so much interest for you?
Because it's one of the best races in the world. It's one of the best tracks. I mean, honestly, in a GT car, for me, that's like the perfect speed round there. I think if you go anything faster, it can be a bit dangerous in places. But yeah, it's just everything. I mean, I've been watching it, of course, for a long time. I know a lot of my friends, of course, that have been racing in it already. They say it's one of the best things ever. And I like racing other cars as well. So this was basically the first time that, yeah, I could do it proper. So yeah, I'm very excited. To see also how we are going to perform. I mean, it's a very stacked lineup and field in general. So I'm looking forward to it.
Can you imagine doing a demonstration lap in a Formula One car there?
Yeah, I was not allowed. Otherwise, I would have done it already.
You've asked, right? All right, thank you for that, Max. Alex, let's come to you. Now, there were high expectations surrounding Williams this year. Just how much of a shock is your current situation?
Yeah, I think it's not where we want to be. I think as a team, we are disappointed where we've started, but it's just how it goes. Sometimes we've got a clear plan to come back. I think the gap to the top of the midfield even is quite large. So we do need to well, we know where the issues are, and I think it will take a bit of time, maybe a little bit more than we would like, but yeah, we have a clear strategy to get back.
And a similar question to the one I asked Max. Do you think the gap was exacerbated in Albert Park? Do you think you'll be closer here?
Truthfully, I think maybe we'll be a bit further away here. I think this kind of track doesn't normally suit us. If you look at last year, we were quite strong in Melbourne. That track normally goes well for us, and when I look at last year, we fell back in China. So I think we still have similar characteristic issues as we'd had last year as well. So this track's quite front limited, and it exposes cars that have a bit of understeer, and I think we'll have that this weekend.
All right. Good luck with that. Thank you, Alex. And Gabby, let's come to you. Points on Audi's debut last weekend. Having had a few days to reflect on that result, can you describe the scale of that achievement?
Yeah, it was a great weekend, I must say. I really didn't expect that. Obviously, coming from Barcelona, shakedown and everything, we had a lot of things to work on. And then Bahrain, obviously, we had a little bit of an understanding where we were standing, more or less. But yeah, going to Q3 in our first try, then scoring points, it was something very positive that, yeah, I was just extremely happy to be able to achieve that already in our first weekend. Obviously, and as you said as well, tracks change and also, results. So we're going to try our best here and understand actually where we are also standing in different types of tracks.
On a personal level, this is year 2 for you in Formula One. How much more settled do you feel inside the sport now?
Much more, I must say. Like the way I'm dealing with things now. Also, the understanding about how I want to approach my race weekends outside of the race weekends. Also, how I'm working with the team. Knowing these people are already for 2 years now is a completely different thing. I just feel much more relaxed, much more also compromised to the project somehow. That is finally becoming a reality to be Audi. And yeah, just probably I'm enjoying much more now than what I was at this moment last year. And hopefully we can keep it going like this.
All right, thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor. We'll start with the broadcasters. And David, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Max, question for you first. I think Isaac Hadj is like the 7th different teammate you've had at Red Bull. You've had a chance to see him now over a race weekend and a pre-season. What would your assessment be of Isaac Hadjar? How good do you think he is and his future for the sport? Where do you think he could go?
Yeah, good. I mean, he had a very solid first race weekend. Unfortunately, of course, in the race, didn't really get to show that. But I think it was a very good start, for the team. And also, when I had my troubles in qualifying, for him to be up there, that's exactly what we need as a team, So, yeah, a good start. So I hope that we can continue that way.
Thank you, Max. Next one. Any more from the broadcasters? Yep.
Question for you three, please. In the beginning of this understanding process of the year, new season, new car, new movement, everything. So is it good? Is it better to have a sprint race here in China already?
Who'd like to start? Gabby, go.
Yeah, it doesn't really, I think, makes a big difference. Still we're going to learn a lot through the weekend. If it was a normal weekend, we would probably just be, testing things in FP1, 2 and 3 and then going to quali with more or less what we think is the best. Here is not going to be different. I don't think we're going to have everything maximized before qualifying. So we're going to be testing things and learning things also in the sprint quali, sprint race. But yeah, I think it's also something that gives a little bit more spiciness, in the weekend to push a bit further and faster.
Yeah, same as Gabby. I think if it happened in Melbourne, I would say maybe not the smartest idea, but this track is a little bit easier with touch wood. It's a bit easier with the deployment side of things, so I don't think it will be as penalising or lack of track time isn't going to be the end of the world. So yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Max, on a more positive note, I mean, you did come through the field last weekend. Where, had you not had those problems in qualifying, do you think the pace of the car was? How far off? Is it even possible for you to be able to tell how far off the Mercedes or the Ferraris you might have been at the weekend?
No, I said it before, at P5. I think in qualifying, for whatever reason, I guess Ferrari was not where they wanted to be, but
after a dramatic season opener in Australia, Formula One now heads to Asia for the next round of the championship, the Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit. As the second race of the 2026 season, this event will be one of the first real tests of performance and reliability for the new generation of F1 cars and power units. The Shanghai International Circuit is known as one of the most technically challenging tracks on the calendar. The circuit stretches over 5.4 kilometers per lap and features a mix of long straights and demanding corners that require precision and balance. One of its most iconic features is the extremely long back straight, where drivers can reach incredible speeds before braking hard into a tight hairpin. This section often creates some of the most exciting overtaking moments of the entire race weekend. Another key factor this weekend is the sprint format. The Chinese Grand Prix will host the first sprint event of the 2026 season, meaning teams will have limited practice time before qualifying and the short sprint race. This format adds pressure on engineers and drivers alike, as every session becomes crucial for collecting data and finding the perfect setup. All eyes will be on George Russell and the Mercedes team after their impressive victory in the season opener. Russell's performance in Australia has already positioned him as an early contender for the championship, but the competition is expected to intensify in Shanghai. Drivers like Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen will be eager to close the gap and challenge Mercedes at a circuit where strategy, tire management, and energy deployment can make a huge difference. Historically, the Chinese Grand Prix has delivered unpredictable and exciting races. The unique layout of the circuit means that small strategic decisions, such as when to deploy energy or when to pit, can completely change the outcome of the race. With new regulations, the sprint format, and the early championship battle already heating up, the Chinese Grand Prix promises to deliver another thrilling chapter in the 2026 Formula One season. If you enjoy deep analysis, race previews, and the latest updates from the world of Formula One, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more explosive F1 content.